Pymble Ladies College cruise there some time ago, and I was thrown in his lot with Leichhardt Rowing Club. Carrying boat number 4, that is Sinead Hickey taking the win there. And in second place, I think that I don't know whether that number fallen down on its side. Okay, so that'd be Newcastle Grammar. That's Annabelle Mackenzie in second place. It could be Bennett from Leichhardt in lane 1. Well, the top 3 places there in the women's under-16 scull. First place goes to Leichhardt's Sinead Hickey. Second place then would go to Annabelle Mackenzie. Third place to little Lily. It is Lily Bennett from Leichhardt, and then I think that was a 3 or 4. Harrison from Leichhardt would take 4th place. Now, it's important to remember that where there are 2 crews from the one organisation in the event, it is only the winners or the winning points. You can only get 1 points per race, 1 set of points depending on the place you get. So, for example, there, Leichhardt would take the win and get winning points, and second place to Newcastle Grammar. And I don't think third place then would get the points for Leichhardt. I think that's the way it works. Well, the next event is the men's open pair. And as many of the old timers from rowing would declare that to identify how many crews we might have there. On the entries that came in, they're all from Glebe. Yep. Of the 5 starters listed there, Glebe have partnered up Andrew Parrish with Well, look, they're coming down here with the speed of 1,000 flying gazelles at the present moment. And look, we've got 1, 2, 3 starters out there. And the rate coming from the crew on this side, which has to be at Glebe, it's got Glebe colours. And look at the competition that's going on both sides of the course from Glebe. They're all from Glebe, of course, but it's fierce. You've got the scullers. I don't know which team that might be. It could be Tejan and Kenny Major down there. That looks like Kenny Major on the far side and Mark Tejan. They're on the far side. They'd have about a canvas lead over the crew from this side, which could be Brad Smith and Darren O'Sullivan. There's fierce fighting going on in both these crews at the present moment. They're the ones to watch on the far side. That looks like Kenny Major, who's still got the reach in a boat like that as he was when he was 16 years of age. He comes to line. There's about a length between them at the present moment, but it looks like it will be Tejan and Major taking the win. What a dramatic win coming from those old-timers over there. And Brad Smith, congratulations, lane number 4. That was Darren O'Sullivan and Brad Smith taking second place. And I think I can remember Kenny Major being the and third place. Then we'll go to Glebe's Hadley Anderson and Callum Steele. And well done, the 3 crews. But the rate, I think Owen Nix might have clocked that. It was about 38, almost 40 strokes to the minute as they took off in the first 100 metres. A dramatic race in the men's open pair. How exciting it is to be down here today and watch men who have raced all their lives do so well. In fact, I think, was it Kenny Major and Brad Smith would have been over for the Australian Masters? Yes. Oh, and next you went over there too. You went down Lake, you didn't go to Lake Wenry? Well, the top 3, or the 3 official places now would go to Mark Tejan and Kenny Major taking the win. Second place to Darren O'Sullivan and Brad Smith. And third place going to Hadley Anderson and Callum Steele. Well, the next race, and it's really amazing. The next race scheduled for 9:50. So racing right on time. A great job done by the boat race officials on today's program as we move now to the Para Double Scull. Same distance, 450 metres. 2 crews entered. And they're both from Balmain Rowing Club. Now, I'm just trying to see whether they are there because this is a big ask to get those parascullers on the water today. And yes, they're making their way down there. 2 para double sculls. The crew on the far side scheduled to race would be Minka Kelly, James Johnson, and they're coached by Anne Craig and Liam James, the JB Sharp convener. How you get the time, Liam, I don't know. Liam has recently become a barrister, I understand, in the courts, and taking after his dad, who was formerly a judge of the district courts. He was a judge in the Supreme Court, and you're now a barrister, Liam. God heavens above. So if you're looking for a man, are you a good defence or a good prosecution barrister? More civil. He's very civil, regardless of whether he's on the defence or the prosecution. But he's a great barrister and he's a great man. We're very lucky to have a great convener like Liam James. But he's also one of the coaches of, coach with Anne Craig, And I think Mum has had a hand in it as well, Barbara Ramjan, who have always had this interest and support for para rowing. This will be a handicap event with Balmain crew of Lauren Webber and Bronte Marshall taking off on go, and 5 seconds later over this distance, followed by Mika Kelly and James Johnson, also from Balmain.
To help stop the spread of viruses, like the flu or coronavirus, good hygiene is essential. That starts with washing your hands thoroughly with soap and water. Whenever you cough, sneeze or blow your nose, prepare food or eat, care for someone sick, touch your face or use the toilet. Remember to cough or sneeze into your arm or a tissue. Bin the tissue and wash your hands. Together we can help stop the spread and stay healthy. Visit australia.gov.au, authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Well, a couple of years ago, you might see a boat just off the finishing line down there. It's a rubber ducky, and it's a great craft and was bought specifically to assist with the safety of para scullers and crews, as well as serve as a reserve boat out there. But it is the property and an asset of the JB Sharp Committee, and it's out there for the protection of the rowers. I do hope the registration's been paid on it, Liam, because here comes the maritime people coming down to check on it. If they're checking on the registration, has that been paid up to date? And have we got it in the right name? So everything's kosher. I swear blind they've been checking up on you. Well, it does look as if we've got the two crews there from the para double sculls. Just going through it again. The crew closest to the clubhouse here will go off on go. That's the crew of Lauren Webber, Bronte Marshall, coached by both Anne Craig and Liam James. And the crew on the far side will start off 5 seconds later. That's Mika Kelly and James Johnson. We're about to have a start. They'll be followed by boat race officials right throughout the course. The boats are starting to move and drift onto the starting line now. It looks like we have a start from the Go crew. That's Webber and Marshall have got off on line. 5 seconds later, we've got a start from Kelly and Johnson. And they'll have to watch their steering coming down here, because the idea is that they should be fairly close to the pontoons here on this side of the course. Well, it's fairly even going at this stage. The Balmain number 1 crew on this side, that's the Go crew, still managing to hang on to that 5 second lead. That's been reduced now down to about 4 seconds coming down to 3 seconds. A good road coming from Kelly and Johnson on the far side of the course. But steering the best course, of course, would be the Go crew. That's Webber and Marshall, who will continue to head straight for the finishing line. And in fact, the boat race officials have moved across to the other side of the course to bring them back online. Watch that with the other crews. Don't follow the profile of the course on the far side. You'll probably run into a ferry or the other competition over there coming from the those canoe things, that's a very technical term. But on this side of the course, now they've started to straighten up, and both crews, there's a separation of about almost 100 metres between them across the course, but it's the Balmain colours down here for the Balmain number 1 crew, the Go crew of Laura and Webber that still hold that lead. Bronte Marshall there, and we're seeing a great row coming from them. They'd have about a half a length of clear water between themselves. They go across the line, and it is the number 1 crew from Balmain taking the win in the Para Double Sculls. And second place, about 7 or 8 seconds behind, will be the crew of Mika Kelly and James Johnson. You're part of the Red Bull racing team.
I'm actually not. It's all a big facade, so no.
Well, it's a very good looking facade you've got there. You want to try it now?
No, yeah. I'll watch for a few minutes and then I'll.
Right, okay. Well, the next event is the Women's Novice Quad Scull. Now, this is an interesting one because once you've won a novice event, you no longer qualify to race as a novice in this series. You can win a novice and you are then moved on to the intermediate. You can race second in the novice quad and you can still keep racing. Of course, in the novice scullers that we will see later on in the program, the smart thing is to get a series of second places, and that means you can race in all 5 events, and they'll a massive paint score, and that would augur well for you getting that bursary at the end of the series.
Unfortunately, they know who I am.
Now, that's an interesting one. We've got a new commentator coming on now, and a very attractive young lady, if I can use that term at the present moment. Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Barry, thanks for that beautiful introduction. My name's Heidi Lindahl, and I've been a member of Glebe for the last 9 years or so now.
Your name is Heidi
Lindahl. Yes.
I've seen that name on programs.
You may have,
Yes, but you're only a very young lady.
Oh,
You haven't given it away though, have you?
no, not at all. I just thought I'd swap the Zooty for a bit of a Red Bull promo jacket and give it commentating a bit of a crack. So speaking of novices, I'm a bit of a novice when it comes to commentary, so please don't judge me too much, and I'll be guided by your wonderful experience, and we'll see how we go as a team, hey?
Well, they used to call me. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
The finish.
okay. So we've got our first. What have we got? We've got quad race here, and who have we got coming in the front there, Barry?
Well, have a look at the number on the front of the boat.
Okay, so Newcastle Grammar
That's it.
finished first there, and what would you look at that? There's a Heidi in that boat. It's meant to be. What? My first race called, beautiful, and then we've got Leichhardt coming in second. Okay.
That was fabulous.
Oh look, That was the women's novice quad scull. Well done, ladies. Exceptional row.
You've got to do the next one. You've got to do the next one. Look, that was a fantastic effort. The crowd's applauding.
Oh, yes, I can hear in the background.
Heidi Lindahl, I've seen that name on programs over the years, but I never get to see what the face looks like because all you see is the back of them as they go across the line. The next one's going to be interesting because it's the men's novice single scull.
Hey, yeah, it looks like quite a highly contested race, this one, and we've got one of our very consistent scullers from Glebe, Frank, and another Glebe, Pedro. We often see Frank fanging it around Blackwattle Bay on a regular basis, from Glebe, so he'll be in for a good chance, no doubt, and looking for his first gold medal. Okay, and how about the two Leichhardt Cruz Barry?
Well, Lucas van der Wiesenhausen, I think, raced in the under-16s, and Dylan Lee, but I don't get down there anymore. Age and COVID restrictions have caused me, old age. But look, what age did you start your sculling career?
What age did I start? I believe I was 30... Geez. 32?
You must have been in Masters when you started.
I did. I started as master.
You didn't. You don't look any older than about 18 or 19 now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Quite the charmer. But no, look, I was actually inspired by the London Olympics and thought, all right, if there's an Olympics I can still try to make, maybe it's in rowing. But little did I know how competitive it was and how hard it was. However, I decided to still give it a crack, and to be honest, it's absolutely changed my life for the better in so many ways. So I think rowing's a brilliant sport, and there's not too many sports where you can participate as a solo athlete or with a crew of up to 7 people, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about rowing.
It's a family.
Yeah.
It is a family. It's not a sport where you're going to find people in courts unless you're a barrister over here like Liam James. But no, it is. It doesn't get a lot of publicity because there is no deaths or injuries generally with those people. They keep a low profile, but it's rowing probably has a profile. They're probably about 4th or 5th in the world. They've done, yes, they're high up in world rowing. And in Masters rowing, thanks to the likes of Kim Mackney, of course, they're right up there with the best of them. And Heidi Lindell, come on down.
Jeez, yeah, look, still a little bit up and coming, but we're very fortunate to have the likes of Kim and Kenny Major and Brad Smith mentoring us from Glebe. And whilst we're a small club, I like to call us a boutique club, we definitely have developed some really good, a really good calibre of rowing athletes. And I think that one of the best things about Glebe is everyone gives 110%, whether it's racing or in a social environment, and that's why we're such a close-knit club and quite successful when we go to all the regattas, even though we do only have a small number compared to a lot of the other bigger elite clubs. So I'm proud to be part of Glebe, that's for sure.
Heidi, you'd almost be qualified to race in the D category for Masters coming up, I would think, which means, have you rowed in a state representative crew before?
I'm not quite ready for D. I'm still in B, actually. So, but my sidekick Jackie Harris has given the state teams a crack, and she's definitely one to look out for in the years to come. She's only a few years older than me, but she's definitely one to be selected in a state crew sometime soon. That's for sure in the next few years. And then I'm sure I'll give it a crack in a few years' time as well. But I'm not wishing my years away too quickly just yet. I'd like to remain as young as I can for as long as I can, and just focus on what I can do, both in my single and with the other crews that I'm with, including with my sidekick Jackie Harris. Yeah, who's also I'll give the pontoon queens a little bit of a shout out. Jackie Harris and her wing sister on there, Belindy Rowe. Both are fantastic rowers in their own right, and doing their best for Glebe out there, helping everyone get in and out on the pontoon in a safe way while freezing their butts off at the same time. So well done, girls. You're doing well.
Well, I can't see. I think they're still getting those screws on the line in the men's novice single scull. I'm going to hand this microphone to you, because in this cold breeze, my arm has gone very still, and so I can't move it around. But no, that's good. Do you mind doing that?
Not at all.
All right.
As long as you don't leave my side.
No, I won't be doing that because I think you're doing a great job, though.
Oh, thank you.
You've got to keep talking,
Okay, I'll do my best.
keep talking, and God bless you.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Barry. Like I said, as long as you don't leave my side, I think I'll be able to at least hold the microphone. And my lovely sidekick from Glebe, Tony, has just joined me as well, so he'll pop onto the microphone in due course whilst we wait for the men's novice single scull to start coming down the lanes very soon. Okay, Tony, welcome to the JB Sharp commentary. How are you today?
I'm feeling pretty good. But not, well, I'm lying, but
That's all right, I'll carry you through, Tony. You're safe with me. All right, so just to recap, we've got the men's novice single coming down soon. And in this, in lane 1, we've got Dylan Lee from Leichhardt, coached by Malcolm Campbell. Lane 2, we've got Pedro Turin Silva. In lane 3, we've got Leichhardt, Lucas van Weestersen, coached by Malcolm Campbell as well. And in lane 4, we've got Glebe, we've got Frank. You can pronounce his last name, Tony, come on.
Frank S.
Oh, Frank S. Well done, Tony. Coached by none other than Kenneth Major himself. So hopefully they'll be off and running as soon as a little mini ferry comes across to the ferry wharf. That's one of the bonuses of Glebe. It becomes a little bit of an obstacle course at times, but that also adds to the uniqueness of it, doesn't it, Tony?
Well, it's good to see the ferry back up and running, and obviously we do encounter it a lot most mornings, but they're very respectful and quite slow into the bay, which obviously means no wash, but when you want to start a race, it does you wish they were a little bit quicker.
That's right, but Blackwattle Bay, it's definitely the friendly bay to be. All being respectful with one another between ferries, barges, dragon boaters, rowers, all walks of life really.
I wouldn't want to be trying to keep the single straight on the start line right now though with the cross breeze.
Look, I have to say I'm with you there, Tony, especially as a novice. It's quite the feat just being out there trying to stay in your boat really.
Well, particularly as probably a lot of them are half my weight, probably blown around a little bit more than perhaps I would with a bit more ballast.
Look, I don't know, Frank's a big dude.
Oh, yeah. That's all right. Yes, you're right. I don't think Frank's going anywhere. Until he starts, I reckon it'll be quite quick actually.
That's right, as long as they keep their oars pressed firmly against their gates, I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah, it's been quite interesting. I mean, Frank's probably been with the club less than a year now, but he's very dedicated. He's been practicing hard, seeing out most mornings, progressively getting better. So, and of course, a great coach with Ken. So, it'd be interesting to see the strength of this race. 2 Leichhardt crews versus 2 Glebe crews. Be fun to watch when it gets going.
Yeah, I agree. I think Frank's been definitely one of the most consistent ones out there most mornings in his single. And it's always fun when you've got a little bit of Glebe-Leichhardt rivalry in a race. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Who have we got doing the start? Is it... I think Nick is on the start line, isn't he? Nick's doing calling the starts for this race.
He may well do. So Nick Galea, the club captain for Glebe, has done a wonderful job in the last year or so organising GRC to be the club it is today, along with Brad Smith, who has also been a huge contributor as a previous club captain to Glebe.
Yeah, I do agree, Nick, as Nick and Brad. But Nick recently has put a lot of hours in. I think he should do with his own bed at Glebe Rowing Club and his own facilities. Yeah. Get him an ensuite or something. So.
Yeah, I'm sure we can organise that. Anyone who's willing to donate a a bunk bed so we can have a couple of people, whatever works.
Didn't Glebe finish sixth in the tally for the New South Wales Rowing Clubs this year? Season just gone?
I'm not the best with my factual information, Tony, but I'm going to run with a yes since you're quite reliable with that kind of thing, which is an incredible achievement, once again, for such a small club. Just because we're a little bit more on the boutique side doesn't mean we can't achieve big things. And we're definitely quality, maybe not quantity, but definitely quality, that's for sure.
Well, thank you. That's very generous of you saying I'm reliable with factual information. There'll be a few that may disagree with that, but we'll go with your version of the truth.
Yeah, I think that's wise for today. So you notice we've got the yellow jet boat going out there alongside a single sculler. Bit of a stark contrast there. Whilst we're still waiting for the men's novice single scull to crack on.
Yeah, quite a leisurely pace this morning, which is quite nice. Wouldn't want anything more on a Sunday.
Well, that's right. And I mean, you know, it's not the best conditions down here for a Sunday morning. I'm sure we can all be a little bit more comfortable wrapped up in under blankets at home right now. So a big shout out to all the volunteers that have come down here today, regardless of the conditions. We've had quite a few people contribute to the cake stall, not only baking some tasty morsels there, but also helping raise some money and selling those baked goods. We've also had a lot of people help out with getting the boats down onto the pontoons, organising the shed, obviously all the organising when it comes to the race entries, etc. Even getting the boys out there, and that's the orange boys, not male boys, just to clarify. So everyone's put in a good effort just to be out here today and make the first first part of the JB Sharp series happen.
Well, it looks like the ferry is moving off now, so we should be getting close to a start. As Heidi said, not the best conditions. I mean, actually, the wind doesn't normally come from this direction, so we're normally a bit more sheltered. Well, do you think that is, I think anybody who hosts the regatta always professes that the conditions are better usually than on the day of the race. I've been to enough regattas now to heard that line a number of times, but we do normally get better conditions than this, don't we?
Look, that is very true. I'd have to agree with that. But, you know, if there's anything I learned from Ballarat, it's you can't always row in smooth conditions. So it's a really good, let's see it as a good opportunity to be out there experiencing racing in these conditions, because it'll make you a much more versatile rower. And that's what makes a good all-round rower, not just rowing in smooth conditions. Isn't that right, Tony?
That's right, and if you take the words of Ken, if you have a good tap down, you would be able to clear even choppier water. But it is good, and it's also good, I think, psychologically as well. I think you build your racecraft up in terms of learning the skills required to row in different conditions, but also as it's a mental game as well, obviously. So knowing that you can perform in choppier conditions gives you confidence in future races.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the key, along with tapping down, is to stay loose out there. The more tentative you are, the more you start to lock up, and that's when there's more chance of falling in. So to all those rowers out there right now all ready to head out, whilst it's getting a little bit windy, try to stay loose, keep those upper traps nice and relaxed, and keep it clean.
Well, it looks like we might be able to talk about some actual racing in a moment.
Excellent. Yes, they look like they're coming up to the start line now. Hopefully Nick's definitely got his work cut out for him, trying to get these novices to the start line lined up together just to begin with.
And for those of you by the Glebe Club, you'll see a dragon boat coming across the line. They didn't win, but we do share the bay, obviously, with a lot of other water users. So great to see so many different types of sports here in the bay. Dragon boaters, an awful lot of them here, which is good to see. They're very committed, and we share the water quite in a friendly manner every morning. Yeah,
not nemesis at all, Tony, and we do like to provide a little bit of extra entertainment for everyone, so not everyone gets access to see dragon boaters, so there you go, at no additional charge. All right, I think, yeah, Nick's definitely got his work cut out trying to get these single scullers lined up at the starting line. And look, the wind is quite challenging out there. Like Tony said, we don't generally get these kind of winds. But like I said, you've got to be able to deal with all sorts to become a versatile rower. So these guys, unfortunately, have just been thrown in the deep end early.
Yeah, I think there's two types of approach to starters. I think you get your perfectionists that like to line it up, and those that just say, well, if you're not ready on time, it's your you miss out, and you'll learn that to be a bit ready the next time round. But I do think pointing in the right direction is helpful.
Absolutely. And what kind of starter do you think Nick is there, Tony?
I mean, Nick is quite a thorough individual, so I'd imagine he would be have a relatively degree of passion to get them lined up, and also with novices trying to make it nice and fair.
Yeah, he does have a fairly chilled out, laid back approach too, which should hopefully keep the scullers at ease and not get too anxious while the winds pick up. You'll notice on that beautiful Anzac Bridge there, the two flags are definitely what would you fluttering, yes, fluttering at a rather high intensity.
Furiously fluttering.
Yeah. And at this rate, the regatta should be wrapped up at about 6 p.m. Actually, I've just been told we are actually only running 6 minutes behind, so all things considered, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's good because I'm on the water at 11, and I generally have my first one about midday. So hopefully it's only 6 minutes delayed. Otherwise, there'll be a terrible clash of priorities.
Okay, and I'll be dealing with a very interesting Tony, if that's the case. All right, Nick, let's get these scullers lined up.
I have actually heard that Nick is not down there.
Oh, no.
But that's okay. Nobody needs to know that. It does look like we've got four boats now pointing in the same direction as one another, so that's promising. Yeah, there's tapping hard there to keep the boat straight. Looks like we've got a line. Leichhardt, Glebe, Leichhardt, Glebe. So we are looking ready to go. So lane one being the furthest side away from us. So, and obviously, logically, it gets closer to us as the numbers go up. Of course, it's always hard when you've got a crosswind. Naturally, the boat wants to point into the wind like a weather vane. So you do have to, in the singles, they'll have to have a little bit more, bit more power on stroke side. Was that bit right? I think so. We are off.
No, they're going to rotate them around. They're coming back.
Oh, yeah.
So they're just going to do a big circuit and come back.
Sorry about that. There was a false call. They are turning round to line up again by the looks of it.
Yeah, Tony, this is proving to be a real battle for them out there just to get to the start line. I think for an experienced rower, let alone a novice rower, it would be quite difficult. So they're doing a fantastic job just by literally staying in their boats out there right now. I certainly am glad I'm in a warm jacket and not out there in a zooty trying to stay in a single scull, that's for sure. So credit to them just for getting out there and having a crack in these conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. And where the race start is actually can be the choppiest part of the bay on the point there, and you get it's getting towards high tide as well, so you get a bit of roll at that line there, and of course it's open at the through the bridge, so the wind is blowing in that direction. So it's actually probably the toughest part of the bay right now would be lining up there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. A lot of the time under the bridge, which is also the thoroughfare for ferries and things, it's the last place you want to fall in, but also one of the easiest places to fall in. But obviously we've got all our safety marshals out there making sure that they're looked after, and if anyone was to fall in the bay today, I'm sure they'd be scooped up in a jiffy. So yeah, fingers crossed though, everyone stays dry.
Yes, and we have scalding hot showers should anybody fall in. I've certainly felt a little bit younger after one of those hot showers myself.
Yes, we are lucky to have nice hot showers with good shower pressure, I might add too.
Well, while we wait for the start, anybody who's feeling a bit peckish, Kate's Cake Stall is the place to be. There's this array of baked goods there. This morning I've sampled some of them, of course, part of my race preparation for 11 o'clock. And I would highly recommend the chocolate brownie. As I said, the number there was a very tempting looking banana cake, but that felt too healthy for me, so I avoided that one. But yeah, it's great. We've also got coffee, tea, and there was also some fresh homemade lemonade as well, I believe.
Oh, is that right? Well, there's quite an array of things to choose from there. I'll have to give my hubby, Andy Wiggin, a bit of a shout out. He's never made me a cake in my life, but he managed to make 2 for the cake store today. So that means a lot. Good on you, Andy Wiggin, and let's hope they sell.
Andy has always got your training goals in mind, you see, Heidi. He knows you're way too disciplined to be tempted by a sugary baked delight. It wouldn't work well with the program. Even in the off-season, I imagine you're still going pretty hard.
Look, balance is all part of life, regardless of whether I'm a rower, trainer or whatnot. I definitely don't do without. But, and we're off by the looks. Finally, we've got the men's novice single underway. And so far, yep, we've got the 4 starters. Excellent. So we've got Dylan Lee from Leichhardt in lane 1, Pedro Turin Silva Glebe lane 2, lane 3 from Leichhardt, Lucas van Westhuizen, and from Glebe in lane 4 we've got Frank Scusimara, coached by Kenneth Major, and here they come.
Now I'm not sure if Frank is still in lane 4, but he does look like he has pulling out a little lead here. And then looks like the Leichhardt rower in lane 4 is just going a little bit wide there, and may need to course correct a little bit to close in the gap. Yeah, looks like it is closing up now between the 2 Glebe rowers. It's getting quite tight. I know it's hard to tell from the angle here who's quite got the lead. I do think Frank may there have it with looks like he's pushing through. A bit of washout there, but plenty of power.
Yeah, it looks like Pedro's making a strong finish, but I think Frank's going to take this one out. We've mentioned. Yeah, and here comes Frank. He looks like he'll be the first to finish today in the men's novice single scull, coached by Kenny Major. Well done, Ken. Got quite a protege there. And we've got Pedro coming in a fairly close second. And our 2 Leichhardt rowers, Dylan and Lucas. It's going to be quite tight between them. And it looks like we've got lane 4, finish it, Leichhardt 4, coming in third place, followed by lane 3, Lucas from Leichhardt. Well done, guys, and well done for sticking it out in those conditions just to even start. In lane 3, we have Glebe with Poppy Hartley, Ilara Roncolotto, Bridie Morrison, and Matilda Peace. The quad scull, quite a favourite event for a lot of rowers. There's nothing quite like finishing over the line, all in sync with 3 other crew members, and if you happen to be rowing over the line first, you can see everyone you've beaten. It's can be quite an exhilarating feeling when it all works in the boat, when the dynamic's just right. So well done again to Frank for winning his first men's novice single race. That's a fantastic achievement, and it's good to see all his training paying off there. Okay, so my sidekick Tony has left to jump in the Zudi and get on the water himself. So it'll just be me, myself and I for a little while here, and we're off and running for the Women's Open Quad Scull. And lane 2, Newcastle Grammar, got quite a high stroke rate there to start with. And from this angle, looking pretty even so far, but it looks like it might be Leichhardt and Newcastle Grammar out in front. And Glebe look to be finding a bit of rhythm now. Okay, but at the moment it still looks like it might be Leichhardt ahead by about half a boat length. Maybe a full boat length. Yeah, Leichhardt has definitely found a bit of momentum, so they're well out ahead now. So the likes of Sinead, Emma, Sierra and Alexandra finding some good rhythm there. With Glebe and Newcastle Grammar fighting it out for second place, but it looks like it might be Glebe, and Leichhardt has finished first. Yes, and it's going to be a second place from Glebe. Well done. And third place for Newcastle Grammar. Well done, ladies. Okay, so that was the women's competitors. So in lane 1, we'll have Barak from Mossman. Lane 2, we've got Jemima McKenzie from Newcastle Grammar. Lane 3, Julia Vichkovskia from Glebe. Lane 4, Kate Wareham from Glebe. Lane 5, Anne Skilton from Glebe. Lane 6 from Abbotsford, Adriana Guthrie, coached by Charles Lloyd Jones. And Lane 7 from Mossman, Sally Maspero. Okay, and we've got a few handicaps here as well. So there'll be some competitors going off 15 seconds, some going off 10, some going off 5, and some going off go. And what I do know is the 3 Glebe competitors are all fresh from Ballarat, so they all were in the Masters National Championships down there a few weeks ago, and all did really, really well, once again in quite difficult conditions. Some of you may or may not be aware, but Ballarat can really whip up a good crosswind, which can make things quite challenging. But at the same time, it can be quite serene and tranquil, with black swans included. So just depends the luck of the draw when it comes to the conditions down there. But once again, that's even more reason to train in the choppier conditions and make yourself a more versatile rower, so you can handle anything that the universe decides to throw at you on the day. But lane 3 from Glebe, Julia Vichkovskia, she actually made her final in the A single in nationals, and that's the first time she's ever competed at a national level, and to make the final of that is quite an incredible achievement. So I've no doubt she'll really perform out there in the Bay. But Kate and Anne, also very fierce competitors, both very strong women, and you'll see them out on the Bay most mornings as well. So it's going to be a good race, this one. So for those of you that aren't aware, the JB Sharp series is generally the start of our winter season, if you can call it a season, and it's a series of regattas over quite a few weeks, starting here today at Glebe. And today's course is a 450 metre course, so it's quite a sprint, although if you've got a headwind it seems not quite like a sprint, but with the wind today, it's a little bit all over the place. So either way, it's challenging conditions, and it's all about just keeping it clean, keeping it strong in the legs, and trying to stay loose out there, not stiffen up too much. Oh, we've got a bit of the sun breaking out now too, which is always nice. Never. Thank you. Yeah. No. I appreciate that, Barry, especially coming from yourself.
Oh, really? There's only one more. They've got the same bank. Yep. And we use it. I tend to. Yep.
Oh, and we're off and running. We've got the women's handicap single scull, race 11. And we had Mossman Emma Barak. She was off 15 seconds. And then Newcastle Grammar, Jemima McKenzie was off 10 seconds. Julia off 10 seconds from Glebe. Kate off 5 seconds from Glebe. Anne off go, as well as Adriana Guthrie and Sally Maspero off go as well. So okay, it looks like we've got a definite leader out ahead, and it looks like it's Julia Bichkovskaya from Glebe. So she was the young woman I was speaking about that's come back fresh from national championships down at Ballarat. Did exceptionally well in her single scull, making it through to the final in the A women's single. And she's looking strong to finish here today. Okay, and it looks like the women are finding it a little bit difficult to stay in their lanes, which is fair enough. And Julia is going to have quite a convincing win here. And then we've got a little bit of a tussle between Glebe, Mossman, and we've got one, and Julia's, is it Julia? It's crossed the line, yes, and it looks like we've had someone hit a boy, or maybe that is Julia. Lane 5. No, that was actually Anne Skilton, that lane 5. Well done, Anne. Julia's actually gone a little bit off course and hit a boy, unfortunately, and then we've got Mossman coming in second, so Amberuck, number 1, and we've got Kate Wareham finishing strong in lane 4 for 3rd place. Well done, Kate. And lane 7, Sally Maspero from Mossman. And then we've got Adriana coming in from Abbotsford, and unfortunately Julia has run a little bit off course, but I'm sure she'll gain a little bit of momentum to finish off. And that brings us to the finish of the women's handicap single scull. Well done, Julia, finishing even though we had that minor hiccup there with the boys. Well done, Julia.
Absolutely, there's been 30. There's been 30, 35 in one race.
Okay, so we've got the men's handicap single scull up next, and there appears to be 10 competitors in this race, so that's going to be quite exciting. It's not often that you get 10 competitors in the one race. Generally, it's up to 8 competitors at once, but I think we're going to try to run this one with the whole 10. And Glebe has got 6 male athletes competing in this one, so well done, Glebe. Let's hope we can go first, second and third. Sorry, I'm a little bit biased, obviously coming from Glebe. Okay, so in lane 1, we'll have Anthony Colley from Glebe. This is also handicapped, so he's off 15 seconds. In lane 2, we've got Mossman, Alexander Dodge, 15 seconds. In lane 3, we have the Glebe president, Mark Tejan, off 10 seconds. In lane 4, Andrew Perrick, off 10 seconds. In lane 5, we've got Young Spring Chicken, Callum Steele, off 10 seconds. In lane 6, Michael Hugh, coached by Malcolm Campbell from Leichhardt, and he's off 5 seconds. Lane 7, Newcastle Grammar, Mitchell Chung, he's off go. We have lane 8, another Glebe, Ruari Foster, off go. Lane 9 from Newcastle Grammar, Elliot Collins, off go. And lane 10 from Glebe, Carson Prout, also off go. So, I've just been told that there's a substitution for lane 1. It's no longer Anthony Colley, it's actually Hadley Anderson. Okay. And we have a last minute addition of Darren O'Sullivan for Glebe, and they're off and running. Okay, this is going to be a very exciting one. Lots of strong males out there pushing their limits. And who have we got coming out strong? It looks like it could be Mark Tejan there. And they all appear to be staying well in their lanes, which is a good sign. And it might be, who have we got here? Okay, and it's just been advised that Andrew Parrish was a non-starter, I believe. Okay, so it looks like we've got Newcastle Grammar. Unfortunately, he's lost his number, so I can't confirm. Okay, so it's a very strong finish. Glebe, and it looks like Mark Teashan's coming second, and it was very close for third. And it's a strong finish. The last few competitors. And good to see there weren't any clashes with such a big race. Very good steering. Okay, so we've got race 13 coming up, which is the men's open squad. We've got two crews in this, both from Glebe. So from Glebe 1 in lane 1, we've got Mark McEwen, Robert Fendel, Richard Rebilliard and Kenneth Major. And in lane 2 from Glebe, we've got Christopher Niche, Alan Somerville, Bruno Paluca and Ariel Polanco Garcia. So Glebe 1 and 2 here for sure. Who knows what... who will come in first? And we're off and running for the men's open quad scull with Glebe in both lanes 1 and 2. And this is going to be a bit of healthy rivalry here and a little bit of ego, no doubt, to see who crosses the finish line first. Okay, so just to recap, in lane 1 we've got Mark McEwen, Robert Fendel, Richard Rebilliard and Ken Major. And in lane 2, Christopher Niche, Alan Somerville, Bruno Paluca and Ariel Polanco Garcia. Okay, it's looking pretty tight at the moment, but it appears to be Glebe 1 in lane 1 out in front, and they're starting to get some really nice momentum happening there now. So they're definitely pulling away quite strong from Glebe 2. But if there's one thing with rowing, anything can happen. So it's important to push right through to that final stroke. And yes, Glebe 1 looking very nice, coming through to the finish. So that's another gold for Ken Major and his crew of Mark McEwen, Robert Fendel and Richard Rebilliard. Well done, guys. Very convincing win there. We've got Glebe 2 coming down to finish second. Nice and strong, not giving up to the end. Well done, guys. So our next up and coming race, race 14, we have the Women's Open 8. Once again, two Glebe crews in this race. So a bit of bragging rights after this one. Another exciting race. Okay, it looks like the women's 8 may not be the next race. I haven't actually seen any 8s go out. They may still get out there before the racing start, but at the moment I can just see some women's novice singles lining up. So we'll keep you posted in regards to what will be taking place first. In the meantime, enjoy the scenery. We've got some beautiful pelicans here in Blackwattle Bay, not quite black swans like in Ballarat, but these are our spirit animal. Might also be a good time to grab a coffee and a cake from our cake stall if you haven't already. And yes, here go the women's 8 going out off the pontoon now. So looks like they will in fact potentially be the next race with two Glebe crews going out. The pontoon people doing a good job giving some direction there. It's not an easy task when you've got boats coming in and out, wind blowing from all sorts of different directions, and lots of people around, lots of equipment. So they're doing a great job there, Jackie and Belindy. Yeah. Okay, looks like we've got the women's 8 ready to go underway now. The women's open 8. Glebe both lanes 1 and 2, and it looks like we've got a little bit of a Masters crew versus a Baby 8 crew here. So some healthy rivalry, and that's one of the best things about Glebe. They've really been able to not only really promote Masters rowing, but while still nurturing the up-and-coming juniors. They've struck a really, really beautiful balance there, and plenty of people to thank for that. Right from Brad Smith, Ken Major, Mark Tejan, Catherine Maxwell, and plenty of other wonderful people from Glebe that's made that happen and made it the club it is today. Okay, it looks like we're off and running now. And the 8, always a little bit tricky to get some rhythm in these conditions unless you've been rowing together for quite some time. So both clubs trying to find their momentum. And really it's all about keeping the stroke rate at a fairly realistic level whilst tapping down and keeping things clean, keeping it nice and strong in the legs, following that person in front of you, and trying to get those blades in and out of the water together. Okay, so it's looking fairly close, but I think it's going to be lane 2, which we'll call the baby crew for today. Looks like they're out in front. That's it, starting to find some good rhythm there. Lane 2, the likes of Kelly, Bridie, Alara, Isabel, Matilda, Poppy, Louisa and Lucy look like they're going to cross the line first for Glebe. And well done. And actually it looks like they've got those lanes. Oh no, that's right. And there we've got well done to Glebe 1 as well. Okay, the Masters 8 crew. Okay, well done to both those 8s. Tough conditions out there. Managed to stay apart. And now they can make their way into the pontoon. Okay, well done to both women's 8 crews there. The baby crew coming in first and the women's Masters crew not too far behind. Well done, ladies. Okay, I've got my trusty wingman back with me, Tony. How was your race, Tony?
Yeah, it was enjoyable. It was certainly challenging at the start there. The tide is coming in, so a bit bouncy. And a bit, as I said, the crosswind, so keeping it straight. The other crew fell foul of a straight line, so it wasn't a challenge to the line, but it was unfortunate for them. But yeah, good. At 450, you don't quite get to break a sweat, which is a shame because I could certainly do with burning off some calories at the moment.
We'll keep you away from the cake stall then, but I'm pretty sure you're okay there. You're not a bad specimen, Tony. So let's be kind to yourself a little bit more, hey? So Tony, I believe you're also part of another club, the Argonauts. Is that true?
That is true. I rode with them for about 7 years. I was actually club president for 4 years, actually.
Wow, I've got rowing royalty next to me. I had no idea. Well, there you go. And what are the main differences between rowing for a club like the Argonauts compared to Glebe?
Well, both of them are great community clubs, a great sense of camaraderie, working together. So there is a lot of similarities. What's nice here is obviously broad spectrum of age groups. You can obviously from the school rowers through to an older crew, as old as Mark, for example. So
Shout out to Mark.
nice Broad Street people, different backgrounds here. I think it's a great community club, a really strong female contingent here, which was really lacking at the Argonauts. It's a shame they didn't have that, and a great friendly but competitive spirit here.
Yeah, no, that's really lovely to hear. And Tony mentioning that we've got a really a good group of female competitors, not just on a social level but on a competitive level, is great to see from Glebe. And even from the time I've been with Glebe for the last 9 years or so, the last couple of years has definitely seen a huge boost to the female competitors out there. And like I said, they're not just participating, they're actually achieving great things. So it's nice to know that you don't have to be a part of an elite club to actually excel, and it's all about the hours that you're putting on the water, as well as having that nice support network behind you from the club, which is always been there from Glebe, which is really great. But I don't imagine you'd have Pelicans or Centrepoint or the Harbour Bridge as your backdrop down in Melbourne, so that's got to be a little bit of an advantage for GRC too, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when the sun comes up over Melbourne skyline and you see the sun reflecting off Eureka Tower and you've got the black swans there, it is rather beautiful. Having said that, they don't have this view, and yes, quite different as well. Seawater versus freshwater, so you have to look after your boats a lot more here. But it's good. I love what you were saying about the female contingent. I think what's really great to see is you've got rows of all sorts of experience levels, but all helping each other up and pulling everybody up. And I think that is a testament to the energy of the club. We are under racing.
We are, and we'll come back to that, but at the moment we've got the women's novice single scull underway, and in lane 1 we've got Irina from Glebe. In lane 2 we've got Yvonne Konsek from Abbotsford. Lane 3 Lily Bennett from Leichhardt, and lane 4 Catherine Nato from Abbotsford. Okay, so it looks like it might be Yvonne Konsek from Abbotsford, also coached by Kenneth Major, that's out in front there. And then it looks like Leichhardt might be coming in second. That's Lily Bennett, coached by Malcolm Campbell. Okay, all the women doing really well out there. The wind, a few wind gusts starting to pick up, so it might not be consistent wind, but those gusts can be just as challenging and catch you off guard quite easily, and before you know it, you've got a rogue stroke and you've caught a crab or fallen in, or it's just stopped your momentum. So all women handling things really well, particularly being novice level, but it looks like it's going to be Yvonne Konsek from Abbotsford finishing quite strongly here, and second place looks like it may be Leichhardt, so Lily Bennett, and there's going to be a bit of a fight for third between Glebe and Abbotsford, and that's Abbotsford Yvonne Konsek coming in first, followed by Leichhardt Lily Bennett, and coming to take third place, it's going to be tight, but I think it might be Abbotsford Catherine Nato, followed by Irina Lobu from Glebe. Well done, ladies.
Yeah, all of them taking a really calm approach to the race, driving hard but not rushing it, taking it steady and controlling their race pace, which I think is sensible in this condition, particularly as newer rowers. So they all looked quite nicely in control there throughout, no dramas.
Yeah, no, that was well raced by all ladies there. Now, just going back to your comment in regards to the difference between freshwater and seawater, how do you find that affects racing?
It's just different conditions, because on a lake you get lots of short, choppy waves when it's windy conditions, and it can be quite bouncy in all different directions. Here you get more wash and bigger bounces and more of a sometimes a wind to deal with. But I do prefer rowing in the bay, that is for sure.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting to hear. I think I find that obviously rowing in salt water, you're a little bit more buoyant, so you sit a bit higher on the water, and sometimes it can feel a little bit heavier in the fresh water, which is another reason, I guess, why it's good to experience both types if you can, and become, a well-rounded rower regardless of conditions. So our next race we've got coming up is the Men's Novice Quad Scull, race 16. We've got 2 crews in this event, and the first crew in lane 1 is Glebe, with the likes of Hadley Anderson, Frank Scusimara, Callum Steele and Lucas Barcelos. And there's been an additional Glebe crew added to this as well as Leichhardt. And Leichhardt consists of Dylan Lee, Peter Simovac, Lucas Van Wistesen, Jasper Richards, and they're coached by Malcolm Campbell. Okay, so we'll just wait for them to line up, which appears to be happening now.
Yeah, so we can just see our second crew coming into view now. As we went on the water ourselves, we went around the corner, was a bit sheltered and practiced a few starts. So I should imagine that's what that crew has been doing. They're now coming into view. A little while to go though before they line up. I know obviously the Glebe crew here with Hadley and Callum had the privilege of rowing with them quite a bit this season, and they've been progressing very well. Both of them very fit. Frank we commented on earlier on in the single, and Lucas not as familiar with, but I have seen him around a lot in the morning. So we've got quite a dedicated bunch here in terms of improving their racecraft and their rowing skills, and I would say they would be fairly fit. Of course, Leichhardt are always or of a similar kind of level of competitivism and effort. So we should be on for a good showdown here.
See if they've still got the energy required to pull a win in this novice quad today. As is Frank and Callum, and yes, Hadley and Lucas in the Glebe crew. They've also been in and out of boats all day. So fitness definitely comes into play when it comes down to this part of the regatta towards the tail end. And they're off. So I did state earlier that there's been an additional Glebe crew added to this event. Unfortunately, I don't have the names in front of me, but I'm sure we can clear that a bit later. So it looks like a fairly fast start, probably the fastest I've seen since starting today, actually. So it's going to be a very good race to watch.
Absolutely, lane 3 got a really blinding start there, and although lane 2 held them for a moment there, lane 3 seemed to be, looks like the Leichhardt crew pushing through. I think it's going to be between Glebe in lane 1 and Leichhardt in lane 3, from what I can tell at this moment in time. Stroke rate, very similar. It will all be down to power and length of stroke by the looks of this here. Bit of backsplash there for lane 1. In fact, they've actually picked it up. I'd say their rating slightly higher. Perhaps a little too melodic in lane 1 there. They could do with taking up a couple of points if they're going to hold on to this. Now it looks clearly, now the angle's changing, that lane 1, they've gone quite wide. Both crews push wide, be outside the course, but they're really motoring on, and Yeah, and for a novice crew, speeding along.
Yeah, that's very impressive from lane 3 over there that's come through first, and as you can see, they've all gone outside the boys, so the winds obviously had a huge impact there, but great racing there from the first top 2 crews in particular, and we've got the last Glebe crew coming through.
Absolutely, they were getting close to the fish markets there. I think maybe they've gone for a bucket of prawns perhaps, but that was good. That was quick, very quick indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I could have grabbed me a fish burger on the way back. That'd be great. But well done to both, the 3 of the men's novice quads there. Very impressive racing and good intensity, and clearly their fitness levels are right up there. So well done to all crews.
I think they're if added all the ages of the 4 in that crew, they might still be younger than me in totality. So should have plenty of fitness and ability to keep going this afternoon. Even though we're winding up towards the end of the day, you can see a men's 8 heading out on the water for their race later on. Obviously keen to get a bit of practice in.
Tony, you're still a spring chicken, and I don't know what you're on about there. I think you're definitely up with the best of them. All right, be kind to yourself. Okay, so race 17, we've got the women's intermediate coxless pair. We've got 2 crews competing in this. 1 crew from Glebe, Anne Skilton and Kate Wareham, and a crew from Leichhardt, Sierra Ortolani and Alexandra Bullman. Now, quite interested in this race. I know Anne and Kate quite well, and they've only been practicing in the pair probably for the last week or so, if that. However, I did see them having a bit of a spin around the bay yesterday morning, and they looked very impressive. So I have no doubt they're going to pull out a fine race today, and it'll be interesting to see how their Leichhardt competition is able to compete with that.
Yeah, this is great. This Kay and Nan, a combo that's been rowing together now this season, building confidence completely. I would have said at the beginning of the season they would have laughed if we said they would do a pair together. So it's great to see both of their confidence continually improving, as well as their rowing skill. It should be on for a good race here.
Yeah, and obviously the pair is said to be the hardest boat to row. Obviously you've got to have fairly equal power, rhythm, technique. It only takes 1 rowed stroke before you're in the drink, and no one wants to go for a swim on a day like today. So fingers crossed they've got the balance right, and they can pull out a good race for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the pair is also the most rewarding to row if you get it right. It's about consistency and obviously matching each other's power. You can't overpower one the other, so you really have to work together as a unit, more so than any other boat. But once you get that run right, nice, steady and strong, it feels very satisfying.
Yeah, that's right. There's nothing worse than going round and round like a donut when you've got one that's a little bit stronger than the other, right, Tony?
Oh yes, I mean I've been in that situation.
Okay, so we've got the women's intermediate coxless pair lining up now.
I always think the start is the hardest to get right in a pair. I mean, the starts are always challenging in every boat, but matching that power, have to go through the race sequence a number of times to make sure you both go in the right direction and delivering equal power at equal rate to have a nice straight start, and then you can kind of build from there. Once you've got going, you're pointing in the right direction. It's very easy to spin the boat when somebody gets a little bit over enthusiastic at the start.
Yes, that's very true, and actually I've only ever competed in 2 races in the pair in my rowing career, and both times it was without steering, and I think we've learnt from our lesson in regards to that. Steering's quite important when it comes to a pair, particularly when there's wind around. Otherwise you'll have one person doing all the work while the other one's just trying not to pull around the wrong side. So hopefully both crews have steering on their boats today. If not, it'll be an interesting additional challenge for them. But I'm sure either way they'll do the best they can and finish off strong, hopefully still inside the boat.
It's quite interesting looking at the two flags. You've got slightly different angles, so halfway through the course it looks like the wind comes around to be a bit more of a tailwind, where at the start it looks like more of a crosswind. I'm making an observation, is that correct?
I was going to say that's very good attention to detail and a great observation, Tony, and I tend to agree with you there. How you change your rowing technique in that small distance, I don't quite know, but nevertheless, that's a very good observation from you there, Tony. Well done. And as you can see, we've got Kate and Anne heading out to the starting line now, so they're a little bit behind, but I'm sure that's fine. There's only one other crew and they're not going to start without them, so it'll be a nice warm-up for them because they're going against the wind. But be sure they'll both be ready to unleash the beast when that starter goes off. Good luck, ladies.
Yeah, they both worked a lot on fitness, in pretty good nick, so they should be in a strong form for this. What does worry me, they were both manning the cake stand before, so I hope they've got deputies step in there. Got Kate to thank for organising the square, the cube, for tap payments. Otherwise it would have been a cash-only cake stand. I don't know about you, but I can't remember the last time I carried cash.
Yeah, it's how times have changed. It's always a little bit of a interesting thing when you go to hand over a note and the store no longer takes it anymore. But anyway, there's no point complaining about it. I guess we've got to roll with the times. But yes, Kate has put in a huge amount of effort when it comes to not only organising the cake stalls today, she's contributed a lot to the club and is definitely one of the most consistent at training. And she is a very fit woman, very strong, and I can say that because I've taken her through the paces numerous times in her training sessions, and she's come leaps and bounds in the last 18 months, and I'm actually really, really proud of the incredibly strong woman she's become, not just on the water but off the water as well. And I know Tony has rowed with Kate and has been her rowing partner on numerous occasions, so it must be really lovely to row with someone that's really committed and just a wonderful person in general, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. Kate organises an awful lot for me. I'd probably row a lot less if it wasn't for her. And my rowing EA, actually Dr. Kate. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah. So, yes, got a doctorate. I can't remember what a doctorate's in. Don't go asking for a medical assistance though, as she's not that kind of doctor. But certainly I think from mathematician or science, which is very clever anyway, you could ask her a good general knowledge question if there's an emergency.
Yes, it's always good to fall back on if you need something like that. But I know she was also quite good at motivating you to continue on the ergs through COVID, Tony, and keeping that rig of yours in good condition. Oh, he's blushing. All right, so they've looks like they've made it up to the starting line, and that would have been quite a battle for them with the headwind that's just kicked up there. So they'd definitely be warm and ready to go. Hopefully that hasn't fatigued them too much. But, hopefully they won't find it too difficult to turn around. It looks like we've got a ferry at the terminal, however, so they may need to hold the start for a few more minutes. So might be a good time to grab a cake and a coffee before we see the start of the women's intermediate coxless pair kick off.
Yeah, the ferry, nice, regular, always on time. It takes you through to Barangaroo, so quite convenient for the Glebe residents. See it quite busy on the weekends for both the tourist perspective and getting around, and also in the mornings for commuters on the way to work. Looks like the sun's breaking through quite nicely here. I wish I'd got some glasses and cap as well. Yeah, it's coming through to be quite nice. So just need the wind to die down now. obviously just continue to promote Glebe a little bit here. The membership's quite high now. Do you know what the membership is for Glebe?
I'm the wrong person to ask. Like I said, my factual knowledge isn't as accurate as what I would like it to be. However, I believe it's at a very healthy number, which is great to see for both men and women and juniors as masters. As I mentioned, Glebe has really struck a fine balance with being able to support and encourage both demographics when it comes to the juniors and the masters, and I think that's something we should be really proud of, because it's a hard balance to strike. From what I've heard with other clubs, they've either had juniors pushed out or masters pushed out, which isn't nice for anyone really. So it's nice to be able to all work together, encourage each other, support each other, and still perform really well at regattas. It's really great to see.
I think that's a testament to our coaches and Nick, but also our president. Mark's now been our president for quite a while at the helm. Steady, calm individual, balanced and logical. Big shout out to Mark, our president. I think we all adore him. I think sets a very positive tone for the culture of the club.
Yeah, I think particularly with Mark, well, actually particularly since he's retired, his hands-on approach to everything he really has gone above and beyond, and it's really, really great to see that, nothing's below him as a president. He's incredibly inclusive of everyone, puts in so much of his own time, not only on the water coaching people, but around the shed, organising races, organising regattas, just making sure everything runs smoothly, which is, it's really nice to have a president like that in charge and in the forefront of the club. And also Nick Galea, I mean, the amount of time he puts in with the juniors on the water is really, really admirable. I feel sorry for his wife. I feel like he's never with her on weekends, because he's always down here organising learn to rows or regattas or training of the sort. Along with Catherine Maxwell as well, has been a huge contributor to the club, particularly over the last 18 months or so, and has been a great driver in getting the females up and running as competitors, just as much as social
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Catherine has been a great asset and cultural aspect to the club. I think she, again, ties and binds everyone together, knows everybody. She certainly, if you want to know something, ask Catherine. She'll know it. Looks like we're getting ready for a start here. I'll pass you back over, Heidi. Oh, we're off. They are off. Good start there from Glebe. Worried they're going to go a little bit wide of the line there. Both crews stroking at a similar rate, almost looking like they're taking the catch almost at the same time there. Bit of backsplash, just expected in these conditions, but great to see that there, no skying for both relatively newish crews. Look like they've got that under control and stable. The Glebe crew turning back onto the course now. Nice distance apart from the two of them, and there's no danger of collision. I'd say they're pretty neck and neck at this point, wouldn't you say, Heidi?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a really good race on our hands here at the moment, Tony, and I think we've got Kate from Glebe is in bout. And the good thing about, Kate and Anne actually compete against each other in the singles, so it's nice that they're able to join forces and compete together in the pair, and they're doing extremely well here, keeping nice rhythm, and it looks like it's going to be a really tight race to the end. What's your pick, Tony?
I'd say that Glebe's got it, although they've probably added an extra 100 metres to the course by going a little bit wide there. You can see the umpire boat trying to push them, and let's hope that doesn't distract them too much. Although it does look like Leichhardt here. It could be deceiving, actually. They've picked it up. I think it's going to be quite close. Leichhardt coming a lot closer to the shoreline here and pulling through. Slightly younger crew as well. I reckon Glebe's got this, but I don't know. Leichhardt's picking up there. They've taken up an extra 4 points. That was exceptionally close. And I think that push there at the end from Leichhardt was potentially what got them the win. What would you say? I think that's hard to call.
Oh, I want to call Glebe, but I think those last two strokes, Leichhardt might have actually pipped them. Anyway, we'll have to look at the photo finish for that one, Tony.
Yeah, I would say that Glebe comfortably had that until the end there, and Leichhardt lifting that probably as much as 4 points in the last 100 metres probably.
Yeah, look, my internal stroke coach isn't as good as yours, but I'll go with that, and I think that might have been enough to get him over the line first.
I think anybody who's rode behind me would probably argue with you about my internal stroke coach, but we'll go with that. You've been very complimentary this morning, and I'm enjoying it. I'm going to go home feeling motivated and my ego inflated.
It's all part of my job. I like a bit of character building, and it's Sunday anyway. Well, where else would you rather be than sitting here with me, Tony, on a Sunday, really?
I can't. My mind just can't think of anything.
Good answer. All right, well, that was a fantastic race by both crews. They're very, very tight, and I still haven't had the results come through. So while we wait for those results, just to give you the heads up that we've actually got the Men's Open 8, race 18, next on the list. Tony, weren't you in that one?
I think I was meant to be in that race actually. Hopefully somebody's done a scratch for me or something, but I'm sure it's given somebody else the opportunity to row. There was quite a few eager to get into a boat this morning, so yeah, last event for the day. While we're on it then, we'll just while we wait for them to come up to the start, perhaps they're a little bit delayed due to the fact they might have been looking for me, so we don't know. Hopefully they would have heard my dulcet tones and known where I was, so they obviously politely chose to take somebody else's up on the offer. But while we're waiting for them to get towards the start line, I think it's also important to shout out to some of the other coaches. Obviously, Ken has been mentioned a number of times here on the sheet, and has been with the club since a boy, I believe, and was early on telling me about how the foreshore has changed a lot over the years. Very dedicated, and of course Kim, who coaches us in the 8 on a Tuesday. Andy's nearby, and he's one of Kim's favourite students on a Tuesday morning. Gets lots of feedback, positive and encouraging. But Kim is amazing, and we've improved an awful lot under his stewardship on Tuesday as well. Anybody you want to shout out?
Oh, where to start, really? If I start shouting out, we'll miss the call for the next race. But I might just go back to Catherine again. She's also coxed quite a few races too, and is always happy to put her high-vis jacket on and jump in the boat to cox whatever crew, which is very appreciated. And I think everyone that's actually part of the Glebe committee needs a shout out, and I might save that for for the end of season party, perhaps, Tony, because I don't want to rattle off some names and forget others, so I'll just cover my back there. But look, we'll give the pontoon girls another shout out, because they've been out on the pontoon all morning, having to weather the windy conditions out there. And like I said, whilst it may seem like a simple job, it's actually quite an important job to make sure that everyone comes in safely and doesn't get knocked by an oar or a boat or fall in the water at the same time. So Belindy Rowe and Jackie Harris doing a very, very good job out there on the pontoon, while I'm sitting all cushy in my jacket next to this hunk of a man, having a bit of verbal regurgitation over the microphone. But no, it's been actually quite pleasant to be able to do this today, and I feel quite honoured to have been asked to commentary the first regatta of the JB Sharp series for this season.
Yeah, certainly natural with a mic. I heard that this wasn't the first mic experience over the weekend. Were you doing a bit of karaoke or something, I heard? Do you want to give us a few notes in a bit? No? Okay. Well, that's great. No, I think it's great to see New South Wales obviously coming out of lockdowns and restrictions that's plagued us over the last 2 years, but now having probably 5 or 6 months of uninhibited rowing, which is great. Good to see the momentum coming back. I know, speaking again from Glebe perspective, there's a lot of enthusiasm for Hoy, which I think will keep the motivation and the fitness levels up over the winter period. And of course, committed to JB Sharp and the involvement in the JB Sharp series as well throughout winter, keeping us all sharp, pardon the pun.
Cha-ching! Well done, Tony. Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, there's no doubt that this is still, the last season was still quite a disrupted season, but there's no doubt that all the rowers are so eager to get, out there and into the racing when they can at the earliest chance possible. Everyone was pretty much back out on the water when we could post-COVID lockdown. And in regards to Head of the Yarra, it looks like Glebe may have up to 5 to 6 crews entering, which is phenomenal. And once again, another a big shout out to everyone that's made that happen. Really, I think our main battle there will be whether or not we've got enough boats to be able to train in and when we're going to do the training. But if that's our biggest problem, it's a good problem to have. And I think it's something I'm definitely looking forward to. It's always a great weekend alongside with the racing part of it. And you're right, I don't mind a bit of karaoke at the end of that one either, Tony.
Well, if we win, we'll all be singing. But also shout out to Leichhardt, their participation this weekend, almost in every single race. And we want to thank them. We know they're good frenemies in terms of a club. And I hear as well that they're also putting a number of boats to Hoy. They always have a strong contingent there as well. So I was hearing this morning there'll be maybe matches for as many crews. So it'd be good, strong representation down on the Yarra, a very tight course. And of course, having the 8s here lined up, all of this is good practice. And this is getting all those different members that want to experience Hoy for the first, and they're actually off now. Good, strong start and the outside lane. That looks like they're taking the lead. I'll pass over to you, Heidi, for a bit more commentary.
Yeah, Tony, look, I hope you don't have any FOMO sitting here and not in the boat, but it looks like it's been a very strong start by both crews, and the last race of the regatta, so hopefully they'll have a good fan base cheering them on the sidelines, both crews. And I think definitely worth mentioning Leichhardt's participation in today's JB Sharp. We do like a bit of healthy competition from around the bay, so it's good to see it being played out on the water now.
This is looking pretty close, actually, matching each other stroke for stroke. Again, it looks like the outside line ahead, but of course it's always deceiving at the angle here, and coming across at a slight angle should benefit. So I would say that it is the outside crew now ahead by full boat length, what I can see. Just a stroke rate, maybe 2 points higher, and Glebe here in the closest, probably washing out a little bit, not fully getting a full stroke, where the running crew seems to be pulling through quite nicely into the body. And we have a clear win there. Very close.
Nice racing by both crews there. So it looks like Glebe in lane 1 have come through with the win for today, with Brad proudly dominating his Cox position there. Yep. And we'll just make sure you weigh in there, Brad. Don't get too excited. And another great performance by Glebe 2 in lane 2 there.
Yeah, that's Brad being shy and modest as ever, but great win for them. I'm almost disappointed to be calling the end of our commentary. I could probably do this all day. Nobody else would want it, but we've been enjoying ourselves. Can we also just say thank you to everybody who supported here, all the officials, camera guy here, everybody on the computers doing the timing, all the marshals, everybody's pulled together to make this happen.
And I'll second that for sure. I mean, it's been a really smooth event actually, and time flies when you're having fun, Tony. And a big thank you to Owen on the computer there. He's a very humble man that does a lot for the rowing community. And there are the cameraman, and there are a few other people here. Unfortunately, I don't know their names just yet, but a big shout out to Barry as well. He's the more professional commentator that you would have heard before we came on board. So Barry ran me through the ropes in about 30 seconds, and hopefully that was enough to, I guess, not make too much of an idiot of ourselves and make Glebe proud. Hey, Tony.
I think so. Barry doing a cracking job this morning. It was quite intimidating to think that I might have to take the mic off him at some point. His knowledge and history of the local area, but also knowledge of rowing and the various clubs. Really interesting. Yeah,
so you look forward to hearing Barry commentate for the rest of the year as normal. And I guess that wraps up the JB Sharp series for Glebe today. So a very successful regatta. Thank you for all those that have come out to participate.